Wind-up shot going low to high. Catch and shoot one more time, Fairfield. From distance coming in.
You're watching the Stag Sports Network. This is game 2 of a lacrosse doubleheader on this frigid late February afternoon. But certainly what is not frigid right now is Fairfield men's lacrosse. 3 wins from 3 to start the 2025 season. And now they welcome in another MAC representative. That is Manhattan University, who are the MAC finalists from a year ago, now 2-1 on this early campaign. Hey everybody, JJ Duke here with you. Brindley Anderson joins me, and what a night it was, Brindley, just 3 days ago. It was temperatures around 20 degrees. We played double overtime in that game, but Rob Moore called game in that second overtime, and on a night like that, you have to take a lot from it to build to the rest of this season.
Fairfield ending that game on a high. Came out a little bit slow to start. Got out to a Sacred Heart got out to a 4-1 lead, but we'll see if that momentum carries into this game today for Fairfield.
Yeah, it was a whole lot of fun. The buzz was all across the lacrosse world as everyone tuned in to see the end of that one as the teams traded big runs in the second half, and then Rob Moore with the winner. Meanwhile, for Manhattan traveled to Vermont and trailed at half 6-1. Didn't look back from there. They lost 12-6. As we take a look at our players to watch, first for the Jaspers, Kelly Dupree. He's one of the big two-way players that head coach Doug Sage has to work with.
A 2024 MAC second team honoree, Kelly Dupree brings a lot of experience to this offense as a senior. 3 goals, 1 assist so far this season. He's going to be big for the Jaspers today.
Yeah, he had a couple of points. He had an assist in that loss to Vermont. Connor Engel, one of the key scorers to watch for Manhattan. Well, it was Rob Moore that finished the show on Wednesday, but the man that had a career day for our player to watch for Fairfield, it was the older Kupski brothers. Luke had a 5-point outing against the Pioneers.
In 2024, Luka Kupski scored 8 goals, already 6 so far this season through 3 games. He also added an assist, and as you mentioned, a career best 5 points to lead the way against Sacred Heart.
Well, these two schools share the same conference for nearly every sport. But in this one, it's MAC for Manhattan, CAA for Fairfield. The Stags receiving votes in both the USILA and Inside Lacrosse poll. Manhattan coming off of a 6-3 MAC schedule last year, 8-9 overall. As we're underway, it's Fairfield in the white, Manhattan in the black jerseys. And it's going to be Fairfield with their first possession as Dylan Smith wins the faceoff. And Smith going to go straight for goal. An early test and a stop for Connor Hapwood, but Fairfield get the ground ball. Your first line attack for the Stags looks like this. Devin Lamprin wears 5, Jake Gilbert 13, and Keegan Lynch wears 21. The key defenders to watch out for the Jaspers, number 13, Damian Blando was a second-team All-MAC honoree. And then you also have 21, Matthew Pantorno, and number 89, Robert Posak. That was a shot backed up by Fairfield, and 35 left on the clock. Early for Jake Gilbert, the junior from Foxborough, Mass. Had 3 goals and an assist in that thrilling game against Sacred Heart a few days ago. It's never easy, Brindley, when you come off of playing a game on the midweek, then turn around on the weekend. There's a nice dodge by a Kupski, a better save by Hapwood. So I'm going to be really curious to see how Fairfield comes into this one. Are the legs going to be heavy, or is the adrenaline still coursing from 72 hours ago?
I think the way Fairfield finished that game, coming from behind for that double overtime win, sometimes I think that's going to be a little bit more of a momentum boost rather than legs tired.
Manhattan able to get the clear. This Fairfield team have held their opponents fairly in check in the clearing game, forcing turnovers about 17% of the time. The first line attack for the Jaspers, Sean Shelko wears 3. Didn't play in the Vermont game, but he gets the nod today. You also have to look at 22, Scott O'Connor, 31, Tyler Mosca. And they're going to be attacking against Owen Hirsch, who had a bit of a quiet game against Sacred Heart, just the 6 saves, but he, like his counterpart Alex Pazienza on Wednesday, came up with some big stops in that overtime period. Andrew Caston defending on ball, and that one goes in. Snuck through the legs of Hirsch. Drew Heiner with the opening tally.
Hirsch able to get a stick on this one, just too much power. Gets it past those long range shots. Hirsch was able to save some of those in the Sacred Heart game. A lot of power behind that one from Manhattan. Good opening possession on attack for the Jaspers.
And when we talked with Coach Andrew Baxter for Fairfield in the build up to this, he said that Hirsch, one of those days where he looked a little bit off, wasn't seeing the ball. He did allude to the fact that Sacred Heart offensively, they have some rather unique schemes where some of Fairfield's close defenders, they're really good on-ball defenders, but they weren't able to defend the off-ball dodgers. So really a lot of mixing and matching. And he was more pleased with the fact that Hirsch was able to step up late on and make a couple of saves. But when you give up the amount of goals that he did just a couple of days ago, you want to get an early touch of the ball. Manhattan's number 5, Casey Klossner, wins the faceoff. Now there's a number of different faceoff men that head coach Doug Sage who he can go to over the course of this one. But the win for Klossner had only taken 14 faceoffs all season, but they're all in the last game against Vermont. Winning 3, he gets that one comfortably.
With the face-off early on in the season, sometimes it's coaches just getting a feel for who is doing well against another team. All fall, all winter long, you play against one another. It's who can step up against another team.
Yeah, usually it would be Keith Frazier. He goes by Patty, but he missed the Vermont game. He was .500 in the first 2 contests. Also, Jaziel Rivera was another option off the bench, a senior from White Plains, New York. Down to 25 on the shot clock, tight angle for Shelko. It goes wide, race for the backup. It's going to be Fairfield ball. The official on the opposite side of the field had his back turned, so he got help from his referee teammate, Julian Radosic was the man that was closest to it. Radosic, who of course started off the season with a 7 calls turnover performance against Lehigh, which is a program record. He's going to be just buzzing for anything in any area. Matt Rice, short stick midfielder from Maryland, looking for his first goal of the season, but he'll sprint off. The way that we saw Fairfield really develop over the course of Wednesday's game, they got a lot of production from their second units, both in the midfield and the attack, Brindley, and that's something you talked about. Coach is still trying to figure it out. That worked perfectly for Fairfield because it wasn't just the first options. It's a man like Jason LeMay who came in, had a goal against Sacred Heart, and he does it again here today.
LeMay scored early in that Sacred Heart game. He gets on the board first for Fairfield. Another just hard shot to the low left corner of that goalie. Goalie for Manhattan, a lefty, so those shots, his off-stick side, good placement.
Yeah, Hapward is a really solid goalie. In fact, Coach Baxter is pretty high on saying we have to figure him out early. A man that saw a lot of rubber last year, 217 saves. And the fact that his save percentage was 55% is just out of this world. After it looked like Dylan Smith had it, he lost it, but then Fairfield come away with it. And that's Radosic, and he's going to go for goal, and he just levels someone, then gets upended, but finds a teammate very unsettled, and now Fairfield will just hit the stop sign. This is Luka Kupski, the grad student from Princeton, New Jersey. What a day he had on Wednesday. Fairfield getting ahead in their substitution patterns. Lamprin found the option, that pass too tall for Keegan Lynch. And it's Damian Blando to come away with it.
Fairfield did a good job going there off the substitution. They were a man up. They were able to find the open player, just not able to connect the passes.
Yeah, and Lamperin, little too much behind that pass. He had such a brilliant debut, scoring 4 against Lehigh back on February the 7th, and kind of took the league by notice. He got the CA Rookie of the week after for a pair of goals against Brown, but he was held in check, and not so much because of a tough shooting day. He just wasn't given the ball a whole lot because he was locked down. We'll see how that wears on his mind. He's always an attacking-minded player. You want touches every time you can. Manhattan turn it over. Ground ball from John Flynn and a good recovery. Now it's numbers here for Fairfield that they want to push. This is a team that loves to play tempo, but Andrew Caston holds it. Jake Gilbert being shadowed. 33, Hunter Newman, a senior from Corning, New York. Here is the aforementioned Lamperin, the Hill Academy product. That effort from Moore goes wide. Rob Moore, what a story. Of course, getting the winner on Wednesday, but he only played the first 6 games last year, missed the rest of the season a lot of the fall due to injury. Ooh, that was a unique take from Gilbert, trying to bowl that ball past Hapward, but the goalie was able to stop it.
Jake Gilbert on that shot dropped his stick low. You're going to see that he drops his stick low, but then he finishes his shot low. So really easy for a goalie to read. If he had dropped his stick low, then finished high, or vice versa, I think he would have been able to score. Got to change your levels.
Yeah, it looked like Hapward for a quick second there was taking it back. He was thinking or anticipating maybe low to mid, low to high. The important bit for him, didn't give up a rebound. We saw often enough on Wednesday, Alex Pazienza, who, congratulations to him, recorded his 500th save earlier today for Sacred Heart in his career. He gave up a lot of rebounds to Fairfield, and they were able to get extended possessions, even some third chances. Fairfield will just crash, almost like a basketball team looking for offensive rebounds and easy putbacks. Matthew Cleary having some issues, but finds an outlet. Now comes to Thomas White, the freshman from Arizona. Beautiful find, and the goal goes in. Oh, the patience paid off, and Sean Shelko gives Manhattan the advantage right back.
Really good ball movement for Manhattan here. They find the open guy at Shelko on that right side wing. Now that one, he put his stick low and finished low, but that shot had enough pace and the ball was moving quick enough where it was able to get by the goalie.
As Hirsch, second time, was beaten low. Maybe Manhattan has picked something up there. This Manhattan team, they rely heavily on their defense, and then once they get into league play, that's where the offense really starts to get going. But you look at some of the teams that they've played already this season and still to come, they're actually in a bit of a schedule against the CAA, playing Monmouth already, Fairfield today. They'll have Stony Brook in their home opener next week. Setting the table, and oh, by the way, they still have to go to the Dome and take on Syracuse in mid-March. But then, and we were talking a little bit, Brindley, before the game, where for teams at this level, if you want to get to the level that you want to be at, you have to play the good teams. You may have to play them, especially in an opening round game. Perhaps you'll never quite know, but Manhattan have hung in there against some of the bigger teams in the country, and no better test than a midweek night going up and playing Syracuse.
We talked a lot about this on the women's side, but out of conference games, you get about 6 or 7 of them to open the season before you get in conference play come mid-March. You want to challenge yourself, learn a lot about your team early on so that you're confident going into your conference.
Yeah, earlier today it was Fairfield women taking on Hofstra as the Pride won 17-11. Both of those teams, Fairfield and Hofstra, schedule super heavy, very aggressive to get them ready for their respective conference action. Manhattan men doing the same thing. They only actually have 6 non-conference games, 5 before their first league game. Nice dodge by Aiden Kane, goes underneath the Shelko. With 15 on the shot clock as Caston knocks him down. Heiner, senior from Glen Ridge, New Jersey, goes to this near alley. Tyler Mosca with 3, reverses with 1, and it's going to be a shot clock violation.
Something Fairfield defense did so well in that possession is the Manhattan attackers were able to draw slides, but Fairfield recovered out of those slides really nicely. Didn't allow Manhattan to find the open guy.
And that's where Fairfield have really picked it up with the loss of a handful of key defenders. The likes of Braden Lynch, like Danny Manning from last year, dropping Julian Radosic back into that defensive unit from being a long stick midi last year. But they have done so well in the early season, holding Lehigh to 7, Brown to 5, and really of those 5, a lot came late when that game was already out of reach. As Luke Fisher, the former Denison product, goes underneath. Gilbert, good scoring area, and he scores! We're tied at 2.
We saw Jake Gilbert get saved on that earlier possession. This time gets a lot of space to work with going over to his right. That time he chooses to shoot stick side, but it has enough power, placed right by the pipe. Ties it up at 2.
Gilbert, just a pure score. Last season registering 26 goals, 13 in the league. More of a balanced effort this year, so he's not being relied upon as much for goals, but his 4th already in 4 games. Daniel Davis getting a face-off, and he wins it. This is someone that really stepped up when the moment asked for on Wednesday. Davis came in, and when Dylan Smith was having some problems, no problem for Daniel. 7 of 10, won a couple of face-offs down the stretch. Oh, big swing and fire from Rory Thompson, but a save by Hapward. But the finish on Davis, this is now something that Coach Andrew Baxter has a good problem to have when you have good 2 face-off guys battling with each other. If one's going downhill quickly, no issues, go to the other one.
And in that second half, Davis gave the Fairfield offense a lot of room to work, a lot of opportunities to score. We mentioned they got down 4-1 early on, were able to climb back. They actually led 9-12, and then Sacred Heart bounced back. A lot of back and forth in that one, but possession, especially in that 4th quarter and overtime, were key.
And I really am looking forward to seeing what this MAC men's division is going to look like this year when you have Sacred Heart and Manhattan already going at it. They were the finalists in the conference last year. Add Marist to that as well as a low one. But there was a flag coming out, so it'll be a man-up opportunity for Manhattan. But yeah, you look at the top of this league, and Coach Baxter very quick to compliment the MAC men's lacrosse division, saying, really, you can only say that 2 or 3 teams out of the league at most is you have the penalty to come that can't hang with anybody else. Top 5, top 6 teams. Doesn't matter what day it is. It could be a midweek or a weekend. If you're one of the top teams in the country, you face a Sacred Heart or Manhattan or Siena or Marist, good luck. It's not going to be an easy day as Julian Radosic is going to get hit. 1 minute slashing. So extra man now for Manhattan. 2 of 3 on the early season. Fairfield 5 of 8 on man down. Keep an eye on Connor Angle with the ball right now. Does have a man-up goal this year. That pass was behind him, however. And P.J. McGoldrick comes up with the ground ball. Well, not even 30 seconds gone before the turnover on that man-up. Not what you want if you're the Jaspers.
Now Fairfield can kill the rest of this penalty, just 14 seconds left. They'll still have upwards of 40 seconds to work with on the possession clock.
Yeah, that's why I was a little surprised to see how quickly Manhattan went, albeit it wasn't a great pass into Angle's stick. Because now we're at even strength.
Fairfield again, a player up in the sub game.
Oh, that one just goes wide. John Akupski's got a real knack for doing that. Of course, it's the guy that comes off that gives him that head start, but he's got a great burst of speed. He's able to create that separation. Kupski again, nice dodge, but he had his shot altered. Blando stepped into him. And Hapward comfortable in making his 5th save of the game. Heiner just gets across. Manhattan were asking for offside. No flag comes. About 2 minutes left to go in this first quarter. Back and forth. Hayden Kane, sophomore from Texas. Now Mosca, 4 goals this year, 2 in the opening day victory against Wagner. Comes back now to Engel. Heiner, he shrugs off a defender, but here comes a second. Brindley, you mentioned how good Fairfield have been at switching and doubling. But that one goes in nonetheless. Great persistence by Engel.
Fairfield was able to slide to Engel in the middle, just too much space and room. He does a good job of reading the defense. He knows that his angle is decreasing if he keeps the stick in his left hand. He switches to his right, gives himself much more space to work with. A lot more of the goal opens up when you switch to that inside hand.
Connor Engel, former Lindenwood University player, moved over to Manhattan after Lindenwood sadly had to cut that program amongst a number of programs after last year, but had 12 points and a win for Klossner. And Manhattan, they can't hold for the final shot of the first quarter, but they can take it down as close as you can, about a 4 to 5 second differential.
This Fairfield defense has done a good job draining the shot clock, not allowing Manhattan to attack within the first 30 or 40 seconds of the possession clock. It's when it gets under 15, you really have to tighten up as a defense.
You need your shot stopper to come up with one. As Hirsch has seen 5 on cage, 3 have gone past him. Now here at Rafferty Stadium, there's just one scoreboard. It's on the opposite side of the field that Manhattan are shooting, so you can understand why. Alex Bales has gone all the way behind to the end line, looking across the field to see how much time there is left. There is a shot clock on this side, however. Doesn't tell you the whole picture, though. Cleary, Shelko in the alley, snapped up by Hirsch, excuse me, that was Tyler Mosco with the effort. Now Fairfield with enough time here to get it across with 8 seconds. Pass deflected towards Eli Adams with 4 seconds. Adams waiting, might just have to release, switches it to the other pole, but the horn went off, going to be no goal. Rory Thompson trying to sell it, but he just realized now that it was after the whistle. But an entertaining first 15 minutes here from Rafferty Stadium as the horn went right after the ball went into the net. Stay with us, more to come as you're watching Fairfield Men's Lacrosse on the Stag Sports Network.
This is where we thrive. The city, the shore, our home.
This is where we chase our dreams.
Donde trabajamos duro por nuestra familia.
And serve our communities. This is where everyone, from all walks of life, works together as one team.
This is the place where we grow and become our best selves.
This is Chick-fil-A Tri-State.
Illicit Brewing Company in Fairfield, Connecticut has everything you need for a night out. Dozens of house-brewed draft beers, guest taps, a full bar, live entertainment, dozens of TVs to catch the game, a speakeasy and game room, brew pub style food offerings, and more. This commercial isn't long enough to show you everything Illicit has to offer. So come see it for yourself. Illicit Brewing, 111 Black Rock Turnpike in Fairfield. IllicitBrewing.com.
We're sorry that we only serve crispy, crunchy, juicy chicken. We're sorry that we only use the best ingredients. We're sorry that other chicken sandwiches just don't do it anymore. We're sorry that it's so good.
the best chicken sandwich I've ever had.
Why is the U.S. ski and snowboard team proud to have Headlam as their official non-alcoholic beer sponsor? Because when you're bombing down a mountain at 100 miles per hour with only spandex and lip balm for protection, you definitely don't want a buzz. You want cold, crisp, great-tasting American beer without the booze. Because staying upright is kinda important, right? Headlam, brewed to be wild.
Well, certainly an entertaining first 15 minutes here from Rafferty Stadium, as this is the first time that Fairfield and Manhattan men have squared off since the 2015 season. In fact, one of the first games that Fairfield men had played at Rafferty Stadium, it actually wasn't even meant to be. The game was originally supposed to be in Riverdale that day, but because of an impending winter storm coming, they moved it up here to a rather early 11 a.m. start. The last time these squads met, it was Fairfield knocking off Manhattan 15-4, but these programs have certainly boosted their profiles since. As Rory Thompson had it, lost it, and gets it again. The only reason why I remember that game so vividly, that was actually the first game I'd ever called here for Fairfield. And I remember when the winter storm did hit and Fairfield women played and beat Rutgers. Rutgers were wearing all black jerseys with black numbers, and because how heavy the snow was, you couldn't see a thing. If a player had a ball in a Rutgers jersey, forget about it. Someone scored it. And driving all the way through and shooting, that was Rob Moore, but a nice stop by Connor Hapward, and he's seeing the ball really well to start this.
He is, especially on those low shots. We mentioned Hapward is a lefty goalie. Oftentimes you're going to see goalies and right-handed players, but you got to change up your shot against a lefty. He's seeing the ball, as you mentioned, really well, especially on those low shots. So Fairfield's going to have to fake those low shots and try to finish high.
No, it's a big point because you practice so much on right-handed goalies. Not to say that, take ice hockey, for example, a left catch goalie is very rare, but it is different. You'd think all of a sudden pick one corner and then all of a sudden, no, you're shooting right to his stick. It's unsettled. Pass near side, just a bit too tall, and that effort rings off the pipe. Scott O'Connor had Hirsch at his mercy, but couldn't put it home.
Good ball movement here from Manhattan, just unable to finish the shot. Gives the ball back to Fairfield, trying to clear here.
Kupski able to break the pressure. Hirsch has been credited for 3 saves. Hapward already with 6. Connor this year 15 in his last game against Vermont, has had double figures in each contest. A tough day for Wagner when Manhattan faced him. Hapward only gave up 4 and saved 13. That pass to this near post. Oh, add another, and that might have been the best of the bunch. But there was a crease violation on Fairfield anyways, but if you're Hapward, you're wanting the save on it.
Fairfield with the skip back pass here. Hapward comes all the way over, saves that with the shaft of his stick.
And here comes the 10-man for Fairfield. Just 6 seconds for Manhattan to get the clear. With 1, yeah, it's going to be a shot or a violation. And that is what Fairfield have really owned in over the last couple of years, and they're going to quickly move. Lamprin dodging, re-dodges, shoots, goes wide. Of course, Coach Baxter, the defensive coordinator for Yale when they won their national championship, made that 10-man ride so prevalent in their scheme, and Fairfield is going to take a time out, so we will step aside as well. We'll be back in a moment as you're watching Fairfield Men's Lacrosse on the Stag Sports Network.
This is where we thrive. The city, the shore, our home.
This is where we chase our dreams.
Donde trabajamos duro por nuestra familia.
And serve our communities. This is where everyone, from all walks of life, works together as one team.
This is the place where we grow and become our best selves.
This is Chick-fil-A Tri-State.
So Fairfield using a timeout early in the second quarter. This comes after a failed clear from Manhattan where the Stags 10-man ride came to full effect. You see the mastermind right in the middle of your picture. That is Coach Andrew Baxter in his 6th season, 30 wins to his name. And yeah, you and I, Brindley, were talking during the break about that Yale national championship team. If you got to stop against them, that meant absolutely nothing because Yale were going to get the ball back every time from that ride.
Perfectly executed there. Did its job in getting Fairfield another offensive possession.
As Lamprin nearly put that into the parking lot. But that's a way that you can add to your possessions. And Fairfield a little unlucky because that ball had been knocked loose right at 60. Otherwise, they would have been in a nice situation, but they're going to get one to go there. And there's the hero from a couple of days ago, Rob Moore. Levels it at 3. The last time he scored, he was beeline right over for that snow pile, but instead he's still got a lot of lacrosse left.
Rob Moore dodging through multiple defenders, keeping the ball in his stick, turns and fires. Similar spot to where he scored that game winner. He gets one here. He had a couple shots in the first quarter, unable to go, but he gets one there to tie it at 3.
Fairfield Stags go.
Daniel Davis back in for Fairfield, and Rory Thompson looks like he had a beat on it, but Davis comes back in, had it. Now interesting here, Fairfield electing to use their second timeout. We'll keep it here during this one. That's really interesting because it's actually listed that Manhattan called that last timeout. I think that Fairfield had both of them, but quick succession. If you're the Stags, this is one of those where you can actually design a bit of a set play right now, do something that Manhattan hasn't seen yet.
Gives Fairfield an option here to draw up a play out of this timeout. That timeout tells me that Coach Baxter is really valuing the possessions here early on in the second quarter.
Yeah, and it was really fascinating when I talked with him immediately after the Sacred Heart game. And, you know, in that huddle, he's now he's someone that studies this game, right? He can read his team, read the rest of his staff, and he's someone that has had to really kind of tone things down and stay very level because if the team always goes with him. So if he's level, then he knows that the team is still at a good mind frame. So he's not trying to do too much. He said, though, he was squirrely inside during the end of that Sacred Heart game because things were getting a little chaotic. You don't want to give up a 3-goal run to tie it up in the fourth quarter, but still keeping everything calm, and when he's calm, the team responds. Oh, interesting now. This is behind the play, by the way, guys. A flag has just come out. I think one of the officials, if we could have that camera just go a little bit to the right here, one referee is holding a stick, and I think he's DQ'd a stick, and Fairfield are going to be going man up. Yeah, so right now you're just seeing one of the officials, well, just off your picture. Yeah, there we go, right there. So that official just threw out a stick after the timeout, and now there's going to be a 1-minute penalty given on Casey Klossner, the faceoff man.
Manhattan penalty at number 5, Casey Klossner. 1 minute for the illegal stick.
Yeah, illegal stick. That's something that we see in the women's game. Not often, but it happens, but that's one of the first times I've seen it in the men's game. And it's a misery compiler because your faceoff guy just lost his stick for the game. He's got to get another one, and well, now Fairfield's got to man up for a minute. They've only had 2 this season, but they've gotten 1 goal for it. That came from Devin Lamprin. There's some new faces out there. Keep an eye on number 56, bottom of your screen, Charlie McFadden, a Skidmore product, who's going to be playing for the Saskatchewan Rush, who's drafted in the 3rd round of the NLL draft. It's going to be after the season, but he had 33 goals last year. Maybe a man-up specialist. Lamprin gets it, dodges, creates separation, still goes on, and it's kept out. Way to stay with it by Connor Hapward.
Hapward, another save on another low shot by this Fairfield offense. They did a good job, Lamprin, to get open to his strong lefty side. Just got to be able to finish.
It's funny, Brindley, I don't think Fairfield had a man up at home this season. If they did, it was a 30-second one, because there were a lot of new faces, and you're trying to figure out, oh, so what's this man up going to be like this year? Couldn't tell you. That's the first time I've seen it.
You'll see coaches take a different approach to the power play, the man up. Some will sub in all new players. Some will keep their main attackers out there. Some teams have player up specialists who are really good when there's fewer defenders.
Well, Manhattan have done the job, but they only have 25 seconds to work with. It's been even strength for a little while, actually, but the subbing pattern from Coach Sage been a little slow to get on the field. Scott O'Connor, goal line extend, reverses, wraparound effort, denied by Hirsch. Back up, it's going to be Fairfield ball. And there he is, getting all fired up. Owen Hirsch. He's the big energy man in that Fairfield locker room, and that's why.
We've seen Fairfield win a few of those runouts today. The player gets the ball, awarded possession, who's closest to the ball, when and where it goes out of bounds. We've seen the Fairfield bench erupt in that play, almost more than when they score a goal. They know how much that possession means, and that's a momentum play for sure. Yeah,
well, Coach Baxter has to be very level-headed. Hirsch only has 1 level, and that's high energy all the time, as Jason LeMay got knocked down but recovers nicely. He had a double save against Lehigh in their opener, and he was basically doing circles around the crease in celebration. That's how much it means to him. Man that came in over the course of the middle of last season and then won the job throughout the rest of the year.
And a goalie winning the backup like that can give him some confidence, even in the save area of the game.
As Jack Savarese gets hit, bounces that effort wide, the former Stevens Tech product with 290 career points. Coach Baxter not afraid to get some D3 studs who can put up 80 points a season and have it translate over the D1 level. Down to 10 seconds though on a shot clock. LeMay surveys. He's got Gilbert waiting with 3 seconds. That effort goes wide. That was from Luke Fisher, and it will be a shot clock violation as Fairfield just pumped it to the corner. But here we go. This is where Fairfield, again, they can set up the 10-man here.
A lot of communication going on by Fairfield. Don't want to leave a Manhattan player open. Defeats the purpose of this heavy pressure ride.
Manhattan learning their lesson. They're able to clear it pretty comfortably. It's not going to work all the time, but it definitely proves a couple of purposes. Obviously, you try to get the turnover and a good scoring area, but you can also force teams to really get out of their own system just to get it across the field. Alex Bales, a sophomore from California, switches it across. Here's Engel, back to Bales. Now Shelko, 21 points last year for the now junior out of Lenape, New Jersey. O'Connor Drawing a short stick. That's great defense. Joe Constantino, one of his first games of the season, coming up really with the stop there. Hirsch gets the save, but it's the short stick that proved to be too tough.
Excellent defense, causing a shot. Hirsch can see easily into his stick, give him some confidence. Those are the kind of shots as a defense you want to give your goalie the opportunity to save.
And Fairfield have numbers. One extra pass to the alley, one more. It just whistles wide, taken by Gilbert. But despite Fairfield having a +8 in the shot category at 18-10, Manhattan's defense is not really broken all that much. Lamperin hands it off. Janikowski gets hit while he released. It went wide. Still a lot of time left in this possession, so Fairfield not needing to rush. Janikowski again. Rob Moore. Nice dodge. It scores! A confident player plays confidently. Rob Moore's got 2 and Fairfield lead.
Back-to-back goals for Rob Moore. You see here on this replay, he spins back over to his strong right side, getting that defender on his hip. He gets so much time and room to just let it fly.
A player who, again, missed a lot of the season last year to injury, got banged up in the fall season, going to work his way back in, but Coach Baxter in his preseason comments was really high on him making that next step up. One of a number of players that took that opportunity and has now run with it. Manhattan now, Frazier is back in the game after missing the Vermont contest. Keith Frazier getting his first face-off of the day.
Another great ride by Fairfield, able to cause the turnover. They have some players up.
And it's numbers here. That pass just a little bit too strong for Gilbert. It was Rory Thompson who knocked that ball loose. Thompson has really taken over that long stick midi position this year. The senior from Binghamton. He's already in double figures in ground balls, getting his 3rd cause turnover. I mean, that pole duo of Radosic and Thompson last year was dynamite. I have Thompson taking over as the lead. So this Fairfield defense was so tough to break down in their first 2 games of the season. It was really that Sacred Heart showing that little bit of, not so much of a wake-up call, but where there could be some spots to hurt Fairfield. They have tightened the screws up today in their 2nd game in the last 4 days. A great pass, but not finished. Oh, Shelko who found a wide open Tyler Mosca, but Hirsch, not sure if he got much of it or if he knew much of it, but the ball stayed out. Might have to take a look back at that one if we have a second here, but Fairfield are going to be on the run. Comes now to Shane Elliott. Now Fairfield will slow it. Swung around, pass to the shoes of Gilbert.
We've seen that a few times today. Fairfield, knowing they have a player up somewhere on the field, because of that sub game, they're just unable to connect the passes.
Feel like they're just rushing it a little bit. Nice dodge by Moore, gets separation, and that ball stays out. I love what Hapward just did there. He basically nestled himself right on top of the goal line, not allowing that ball to spin back.
Another Moore dodge to his strong right side, but Hapward, the better save.
And Fairfield force another turnover. They have numbers. It's a Kupski, but there you go, another rushed pass.
Sometimes in those moments, you're so excited to get the ball to your open player that you almost pass the ball before it's even in your stick. Fairfield could connect a few more of those passes. I think they'll be in a good spot.
As Moore dodges, it goes high. Yeah, you'd think right now, Brindley, the amount of chances that Fairfield have had is a timeout's going to be called. So we'll keep it here. the amount of times that Fairfield have had on those odd man rushes and just, it's not even a crazy pass, it's a simple pass, it's just not looked in. That's where they've been hurt. But they're still in front, but it could certainly be more.
Fairfield starting to separate themselves in the shot category, 22 shots to 11. This was one of the Manhattan shots, but Hirsch was able to keep it out.
Yeah, he got, wow. I thought that hit post. That was basically put right into his lap. It's a great save from Hirsch.
We saw Hirsch win that run out a few possessions ago. It seems that that's given him some confidence now, seeing the ball better.
So Fairfield using, no, excuse me, that was Manhattan calling again another timeout defensively. As Coach Doug Sage in his second season with the program, IDing that his team maybe a little leggy here with 3.5 to go in the second quarter. Just have to give him a breather. That might hurt now Brindley if, say, a couple of possessions now Manhattan have the ball. They can't stop things. They're going to have to figure it out on the fly.
Fairfield has had the majority of possession in this second quarter. As I mentioned, starting to separate themselves in the shot column. 22 Fairfield shots to just 11 for Manhattan. A lot of those coming in the second quarter. A lot of those coming off the stick of Rob Moore. He has 2 goals in this second quarter. That Manhattan timeout allowed them to set their defense, also gave Fairfield an opportunity to draw up a play.
2 goals for Rob Moore, 1 for Jake Gilbert, 1 for Jason LeMay. And still have yet to unlock Devin Lamprin and others. Now seeing KJ Delane into the game. Here he is on the ball, the former Merrimack product. Playing a 2-man game with LeMay. Now Lamprin. It is 6-on-6, but Fairfield almost treating it like a man up the way that they're cycling. That pass was deflected. Good stick work by Damian Blando. Still fighting for it. Blando comes away with it. Second team All-MAC selection last year. Oh, that was a high one. Here comes the flag. Yep. It looked like it from Keegan Lynch. Now, I'm not going to be surprised to see Manhattan use a lot of clock right now because their defense can use a breather. No reason to rush things when you have the man up coming. And if Manhattan actually have some man up specialists like you were talking about, Brindley, I wouldn't be surprised if Coach Sage and his assistants might be diagramming something up because that could be a pseudo timeout. Aiden Kane still with 30 on the shot clock. A penalty coming on Fairfield when we get the first stoppage. Don't get it though because Aiden Kane puts that over the shoulder of Hirsch and we're tied at 4.
Aiden Kane saying, we don't need the player up, give me the ball. He has about 1 inch of space here between the pipe and the goalie's stick. He's able to get it by Hirsch there. That's a really nice, well-placed shot.
That's a big goal for Manhattan. Again, late on in this quarter. Their defense, long time between stops and turnovers. But now we're level. And a Manhattan team that has been accustomed to winning. Over the last 4 years, they have found themselves as the champion of the MAC, the finalist of the MAC, and or the regular season champion. The violation is going to be on Fairfield. Daniel Davis with the false start. Manhattan, since the start of the 2021 season, are 21-10 in MAC regular season games, add a few more playoff wins. So this is a team that's accustomed to winning, a team that's accustomed to not really fearing who's on the other side of the field. That's why you see so much confidence being exuded by the Jaspers. They don't care that they're playing a 3-0 team. They want this win just as badly, and in fact, it would help their profile a bit as well when they've got Stony Brook at home next week. Goes back to Angle. That twist and turn goes off the mark. Radosic had a beat on it, and it will be Fairfield ball. And now, with the shot clock and game clock separated by 1 second, Fairfield can hold for the last. They do have one timeout to work with. They have to clear first. Is Nate Livingston waiting for an outlet? Is Shane Elliott keeping an eye on Fairfield's head coach Andrew Baxter to see if he's going to use that timeout. That's a dangerous pass. It got deflected. It will be Fairfield ball. That was by Robert Posak. Those are 3 refs: Michael Zeldman, Sean Fitzpatrick, and Jim Luxinger. I'll make sure that that's the right call.
You want to make sure if you're Fairfield here, you don't waste too much time. Give yourself an opportunity to attack inside 25 seconds. Maybe recover a wide shot or get a rebound. But you don't want to leave Manhattan any time to attack.
Again, Fairfield not shooting to the scoreboard end, but they can pretty much know when the shot clock goes, that's also the half. Now they drive. Makupski underneath, reverse to Lamprin. Down to 9, Lamprin trying to create separation. He draws a double. Still Lamprin needing to find an outlet with 3. Lamprin gets a shot off. Easy for Hapward, and that will do it for the first half. As Connor Hapward in double figures in saves with 10. And after 30 minutes here at Rafferty Stadium, it's Manhattan 4, Fairfield 4. Got a good one once again in the CAA versus MAC non-conference matchup. We'll step aside for halftime, be back in 10 minutes for the start of the second half as you're watching Fairfield Lacrosse on the Stag Sports Network.
Hi, I'm Larry Janeski from Connecticut Basement Systems. We're the all things basement-y company. Basement waterproofing, basement finishing, foundation structural repair, humidity and mold control, and nasty crawl spaces too. You know, since 1987, over 101,000 Connecticut homeowners have trusted us to fix their basements, foundations, and crawl spaces. Call Connecticut Basement Systems today for all things basement-y.
This is where we thrive. The city, the shore, our home.
This is where we chase our dreams.
Donde trabajamos duro por nuestra familia.
And serve our communities. This is where everyone, from all walks of life, works together as one team.
This is the place where we grow and become our best selves.
This is Chick-fil-A Tri-State.
In an unpredictable world where every moment matters, imagine the peace of mind that comes from knowing your loved ones, lifestyle, and business are all protected. At Meridian Risk Management, we offer tailored solutions, whether for personal, commercial, or benefits insurance. We are here to safeguard what you value most, so you can embrace every adventure ahead. Meridian Risk Management, because your legacy deserves protection.
Your greatest critic is right here. Now that is poetry. That's Fandom U. It's all part of the curriculum. The NCAA D1, D2, and D3 men's and D1 women's lacrosse championships, May 23rd through the 26th in Boston. Buy your seats today at ncaa.com/tickets. Class dismissed.
Illicit Brewing Company in Fairfield, Connecticut has everything you need for a night out. Dozens of house-brewed draft beers, guest taps, a full bar, live entertainment, dozens of TVs to catch the game, a speakeasy and game room, brew pub-style food offerings, and more. This commercial isn't long enough to show you everything Illicit has to offer. So come see it for yourself. Illicit Brewing, 111 Black Rock Turnpike in Fairfield. IllicitBrewing.com.
Move your right foot. There you go.
This young girl's breakthrough, just being a kid,
You got this.
was made possible
Nice.
by another breakthrough. The discovery of a game-changing drug that's delaying the onset of type 1 diabetes for years to come. That's the pioneering research of Yale School of Medicine delivered through Yale New Haven Health. Together, we're powering breakthroughs with the greatest of care.
Hi, I'm Larry Janeski from Connecticut Basement Systems, the all things basement-y company. Did you know that a cracked, bowed, or settling foundation only gets worse over time? A small foundation issue can turn into a big nightmare that affects your home safety, decreases resale value, and can compromise the structural integrity of your home. We'll repair and stabilize your foundation and put it back on solid ground permanently. Call Connecticut Basement Systems today for all things basement-y.
So class, in lieu of a pop quiz, we will instead have a pop tailgate. The NCAA Men's and Women's Lacrosse Championships, May in Boston. Buy your seats today at ncaa.com/tickets.
Hi, I'm Larry Janeski from Connecticut Basement Systems. We're the all things basement-y company. Basement waterproofing, basement finishing, foundation structural repair, humidity and mold control, and nasty crawl spaces too. You know, since 1987, over 101,000 Connecticut homeowners have trusted us to fix their basements, foundations, and crawl spaces. Call Connecticut Basement Systems today for all things basement-y.
This is where we thrive. The city, the shore, our home.
This is where we chase our dreams.
Donde trabajamos duro por nuestra familia.
And serve our communities. This is where everyone, from all walks of life, works together as one team.
This is the place where we grow and become our best selves.
This is Chick-fil-A Tri-State.
In an unpredictable world where every moment matters, imagine the peace of mind that comes from knowing your loved ones, lifestyle, and business are all protected. At Meridian Risk Management, we offer tailored solutions, whether for personal, commercial, or benefits insurance. We are here to safeguard what you value most, so you can embrace every adventure ahead. Meridian Risk Management, because your legacy deserves protection.
Your greatest critic is right here. Now that is poetry. That's Fandom U. It's all part of the curriculum. The NCAA D1, D2, and D3 men's and D1 women's lacrosse championships, May 23rd through the 26th in Boston. Buy your seats today at ncaa.com/tickets. Class dismissed.
Illicit Brewing Company in Fairfield, Connecticut has everything you need for a night out. Dozens of house-brewed draft beers, guest taps, a full bar, live entertainment, dozens of TVs to catch the game, a speakeasy and game room, brew pub-style food offerings, and more. This commercial isn't long enough to show you everything Illicit has to offer. So come see it for yourself. Illicit Brewing, 111 Black Rock Turnpike in Fairfield. IllicitBrewing.com.
Move your right foot. There you go.
This young girl's breakthrough, just being a kid,
You got this.
was made possible
Nice.
by another breakthrough. The discovery of a game-changing drug that's delaying the onset of type 1 diabetes for years to come. That's the pioneering research of Yale School of Medicine delivered through Yale New Haven Health. Together, we're powering breakthroughs with the greatest of care.
Hi, I'm Larry Janeski from Connecticut Basement Systems, the all things basement-y company. Did you know that a cracked, bowed, or settling foundation only gets worse over time? A small foundation issue can turn into a big nightmare that affects your home safety, decreases resale value, and can compromise the structural integrity of your home. We'll repair and stabilize your foundation and put it back on solid ground permanently. Call Connecticut Basement Systems today for all things basement-y.
So class, in lieu of a pop quiz, we will instead have a pop tailgate. The NCAA Men's and Women's Lacrosse Championships, May in Boston. Buy your seats today at ncaa.com/tickets.
Welcome back here to Rafferty Stadium on the campus of Fairfield University. You're watching Fairfield Men's Lacrosse on the Stag Sports Network. Halftime between Manhattan and Fairfield in the first meeting between these programs since year number 1 of this beautiful facility back in 2015. On that day, it was Fairfield absolutely running roughshod through the Jaspers with the likes of Charlie Schneider, 5 goals and an assist, Tristan Sperry, 2 goals, 3 assists, Colin McClendon with 4 helpers. But today, low scoring and defense has won the shows. Let's take a look back at your first half highlights. Alongside Brindley Anderson, I'm JJ Duke, and it's really been back and forth. Both goalies have done the job, and then there's been scoring at the right moments for both teams.
Manhattan goalie Connor Hapford started off the game hot, saw a lot more Fairfield shots in that second quarter, and Manhattan, they started off strong. The scoring went a little bit dry in that second quarter. Rob Moore was big for the Stags in that second quarter, added 2 goals. You're going to see Hapford, another great save there.
Yes, Hapford ended that first half with 10 saves, securing now every game that he's played this season with double-figure saves. Fairfield perfect on the clears at 11. Manhattan with 3 failed clears in 13 attempts. Both teams have had a man-up opportunity, but empty on it. Stags 7 of 10 on face-offs. Going to be curious to see if Doug Sage changes anything there, but end-all be-all, this is 2 teams that are again playing very confidently. I know it's kind of a broken record for me as I said that a lot on Wednesday, but when you have 2 teams that are recently, all they know really is winning, you expected this maybe to be a little bit more high-scoring, but often enough defensive type of games. Those are some for the purists.
2 teams coming off different games. 1 game ago, Manhattan, that 6-12 loss against Vermont, and then we've talked about it, that Fairfield double overtime win against Sacred Heart. So Manhattan's looking for that bounce back, especially offensively, only getting 6 goals in that Vermont win. And for Fairfield, it's really trying to ride the momentum of that double overtime win.
Quickly from some scores elsewhere, just picking a few notables out between CAA, MAC teams, and nationally ranked teams. Iona in their first season with men's lacrosse, taking on VMI, losing 19-4. All-ranked game between Cornell, 4-ranked team, and Denver, 12. Cornell all over the Pios, winning 15-5. Army knocking off the 8th-ranked Army, knocking off Mercer 17-4. Quinnipiac out of the MAC losing to Bryant 18-10 as it's Fairfield getting the first possession, but a violation on the Stags. University of Delaware, who the only ranked team, even though Fairfield and Stony Brook are receiving votes, but they lost a Penn 10-2, probably thinking UDell's going to be dropping out of the polls after that one. Notre Dame, number 1 team in the country, knocking off Georgetown 11-9. Duke over Michigan 8-7. Hopkins losing to North Carolina by 1. Richmond over Lehigh by 1. Maryland beats Princeton in New Jersey by 4, 13-9. Sacred Heart, as a flag gets thrown, this is going to be a procedure penalty on Fairfield. Here's a big one. Sacred Heart, after losing to Fairfield in double overtime, beat Stony Brook, who's also receiving votes. Something tells me that Sacred Heart is going to be very close to getting ranked, even though a loss to Fairfield. So what? You beat Stony Brook right after. That's a great week.
Sacred Heart was right there in that Fairfield game. A few more possessions in that fourth quarter going their way, they would have had the win. They came out really strong against Fairfield, opening a 4-1 lead. A lot to build on, even though a loss for Sacred Heart.
Some other quick ones. Drexel from the CAA losing to UAlbany 16-9. Hofstra over St. John's in overtime. LIU beating Siena. Marist is losing to Binghamton by 1. Canisius over Robert Morris. And then Harvard beating Syracuse 15-14. So that's what's happening around the rest of men's lacrosse. So it's just this and 2 other games that are going on. Thanks for spending your Saturday with us on the Stag Sports Network. It's a slashing penalty on Julian Radosic, but Owen Hirsch, well, after a really tough day and a quarter, he has now locked himself back in. Fairfield had to kill off another 16 seconds man up, but it looks like they'll do just that.
Hirsch, aside from those 3 early first quarter goals from Manhattan, only allowed 1 since. That was a player up opportunity for Manhattan. Not the best shot opportunity I think the Jaspers could have taken, but nonetheless, Hirsch with the save.
And Manhattan, between the third goal that first quarter from Connor Engel, then Aiden Kane tying it 4, went nearly an entire 15 minutes without scoring a goal. There's more. That one off the side of the cage. And Hapward able to recover. That one was taken, I believe, by Keegan Lynch. Yeah, it was Lynch that fired it off the side. But Hirsch, since giving up that third goal, has made 6 saves since. One would like to think as well, if I was speaking during halftime of Sacred Heart knocking off Stony Brook, Fairfield win this game, then there's a real case to rank the Stags. And to think over the last 5 or 6 years, it would be another sport that Fairfield would be finding themselves ranked in. How about that, keeping your balance from Aiden Kane? He still has it. Oh, that's all heart right there, and it's unsettled bar to the far alley. And it goes in! Sean Shelko making something out of nothing. There was a flag down as well, but really, that's all down to Aiden Kane.
Aiden Kane, excellent stick handling skills through 3-4 Fairfield defenders. You see here, he's going to fall down, ball still in his stick. A third Fairfield defender goes for the check. Now there's 3 Fairfield defenders on that one player. There's got to be a player open somewhere on this Manhattan offense, and they find Shelko for the score.
Yeah, good patience by Matthew Cleary to find that pass in the opposite alley, but if you can, can't give hockey assists in this sport, but if you can find a way to give an assist to Aiden Kane, you should. Because that was unreal strength and balance.
Manhattan goal scored right with 3, Sean Shelko.
Fairfield playing from behind. Andrew Caston gets it across. Now the thing about this Manhattan team, Brindley, from last year is that they played a ton of tight games. They had a 3-goal loss to Vermont last year. They lost a 1-goal game to NJIT, LIU, and Siena. They won a couple of tight games, including twice in the MAC tournament, once at Quinnipiac 14-13 in the quarters, and beat LIU 8-7 in the semis. So they're very accustomed to playing in these games. And often enough, that's going to help you out a little bit. You obviously don't want to grind out every game that you play, but if you're in it, then you know what it takes to win. Great skip pass, but the shot goes off. Absolute seed from Gilbert to find Lynch. Down to 15 on the shot clock. That pass didn't get home. Fairfield now, their offense starting to dry up just a little bit. Their last goal, the 6:24 mark of the second quarter from Rob Moore. They're over 10 minutes now since their last tally. As Manhattan continue to get all the personnel on the field, Bales will find an option. That effort goes wide from Thomas White. Starting to see the Manhattan shot count start to go up a little bit. White, who had an assist back in the first quarter. Bales, he takes a big hit from Thompson. The referee says that Manhattan was closest to it. Mosca got to the end line. There was a reset of the shot clock. I don't think Fairfield goalie Owen Hirsch made a save on that. Maybe he did. Okay, so Hirsch got a stop to that one.
Manhattan 11 shots at halftime. Less than 6 minutes into this third quarter, they've already added 6 shots to their tally. Came out super aggressive. Just the one goal, but already a lot more shot opportunities than the first half.
Yeah, there's a number of personnel changes from Manhattan from the second to the third quarter in terms of their offenses. LeMay had it, but then lost it. Shot goes wide. Hirsch saying he had the backup. Mosca wins it. This is an extended possession for the Jaspers. Trying to make the most of it. Tight angle that was stuffed out by Hirsch. With a whistle far side of the field. Oh, I think we'll take a look at the save first. And Alex Bales has been sent off the field. I think his helmet came off. We actually had a situation, Brindley, on Wednesday where the Sacred Heart player helmet came off at the end of regulation. He had to stay off for the first sequence of overtime, as did Alex Pazienza, but that was after the whistle. And a flag comes out. Offside and on Manhattan, so delayed penalty coming. Never seen Manhattan score on 2 of these delayed penalties.
In men's lacrosse, these penalties aren't enforced until there's a save or a change of possession or a wide shot.
And now we're going to see it as I think Rob Moore realized he had nothing to work with. So there should be a technical 30 coming. Oh no, they got a slash in there. It's not offside. So it's going to be a minute penalty on Shelko.
Penalty also resets the shot clock. Huge difference between a power play for a minute and just 30 seconds.
Now Fairfield, both teams have had a man-up opportunity, go by the wayside. Fairfield really didn't test Hapward. Trying to find a way to unlock this zone. Against Charlie McFadden at the apex, working with Gilbert. Also KJ Delane in on the man-up. Near side of Kupski, finding Delane, turn around, but easy for Hapward.
Neither team has been able to score with the extra man today. I think similar to Manhattan's last extra man possession, just not a great shot opportunity when you're a player up. You want to get the best shot because there is a player open.
Well, Fairfield might actually get something from this as Austin McClintock won it back. There's still 13 seconds left in the man up. Fairfield, though, they're not really electing to push the tempo, just trying to get the right personnel on the field. Good work by McClintock, just staying with it. Back to 6-on-6. Austin, the junior from Baldwinsville, New York, making a play. Near alley for Kupski. Again, had a career day on Wednesday against Sacred Heart. Those 4 goals and 1 assist. Swung back to him, he'll release. Shot got blocked by his own man. And another one-and-done possession for Manhattan defensively.
Similar to the first quarter, we see Manhattan coming out super aggressive, and on the other side, Fairfield just not getting the shot opportunities they wanted. In the second quarter, they got a lot of open looks, especially off the stick of Rob Moore. He had success dodging hard to cage to that right side.
I'm thinking about what Fairfield's shot selection has been looking like. There's nothing to me that says that these are not good shots. They're getting the shots that they want, but they're almost settling for the first look and not maybe trying to generate a second. I know you were very high on Fairfield in the first half, trying to change the shot angles in terms of their releases. I'd love to see Fairfield maybe try to work a little bit more to get that second look, because there could still be better grade A's and not just the first option.
We talked about how the Fairfield offense was finding those extra passes. They just weren't able to connect those passes. Now it seems in this third quarter they're going away from the passing offense, trying to dodge more 1v1.
Hirsch making another save. He, like Hapward, are in double figures now. Resets the shot clock. And that's where I think maybe fatigue might be coming in a little bit for Fairfield, playing the game plus on Wednesday. So much emotion drained into it. Manhattan getting a full week off. That's the way, of course, Fairfield built the schedule up, and everyone plays a couple of midweek games in there. But now you really have to start digging deep. Tight angle, Hirsch with the stop, denying Shelko. Now Fairfield, a mark of their offense when it's really clicking, it's when they can get transitional. Start to stretch the game, force your opponents to make some changes as Gilbert goes for goal and scores. So there you go, just like that. Not allowing your opponent to settle into your defense and move in the game. Fairfield, that's when they're at their truly their best.
Gilbert using the pick here. You're gonna see the Manhattan defender get a little bit slowed up by that pick. Gilbert, so much speed towards cage. Those are the kind of looks as a Fairfield offense you want to generate, high percentage opportunities. That was a great use of the pick play there. It didn't necessarily hinder the Manhattan defender completely, but it allowed him to slow down and Gilbert get the first step.
So for Fairfield, that is their first goal in more than an entire quarter play, because Rob Moore's tally to make it 4-3 was at 6:24 left in the second. That's about 16 and a half minutes since their last goal. Jake Gilbert getting it, leveling things at 5. Gilbert with a pair of goals today, after just having 3 in his first 2 games. Now what is going to help Fairfield down the stretch is the fact that they have been locked in at the dot. The combination of Dylan Smith, Daniel Davis, and Jonathan Lewis have gone 10 for 13. But Hapward makes another save. Right down Main Street goes Luke Fisher, but can't find it.
Luke Fisher able to win his 1v1 matchup there. Just not able to get it past Hapward, a goalie seeing the ball really well.
But here comes the ride. Fairfield trying to force a turnover. There's a whistle. Was there a timeout before? No, it's a push on Fairfield. That's a bad break for the Stags because they didn't have possession, and there's about 2 seconds left before it would have been a failed clear. And now Manhattan get the full 80. Talked about back Brindley in the women's game earlier. Great teams will capitalize when you get opportunities. And that one goes in. Alex Bales puts it around Hirsch. Manhattan back in front.
Bales, the sophomore attacker, with a nice move here. Manhattan capitalizing off that Fairfield push. Dodges to his left side. You see the placement of that shot right. Paints the pipe. Hirsch just didn't really see that one. Unable to save it, gives Manhattan back the lead.
And what balance in the scoring. I know there's only 6 goals in it for Manhattan, but goals from 5 different players. Shelko, Kane, Heiner, Engel, and now Bales. Now, this is a team that graduated the co-offensive player of the year in Kyle Kyle Gukwa, 205 career points for him. And yeah, now all of a sudden here, you don't just rely on one. You could get 5 or 6 different men to help get goals. Fairfield still have their face-off man out there lying in the wing, so it's basically 5-on-5 at the moment. Akupski. Goes underneath. Fairfield have it unsettled. Gilbert, nice save, Hapward. Ripped that right out of the air.
Hapward, that lefty goalie with that stick side high save.
That was so fascinating seeing Daniel Davis just camp out in the corner, not giving away anything, allowing Fairfield to get some more space. So we were dissecting, again, back in the Fairfield versus Hofstra women's game earlier, that the zones that both teams are playing, Manhattan have packed it in at times, so maybe Fairfield saying, let's try and make things a little silly, if you will. Go 5-on-5 and see if you can get some space. And eventually the face-off men do leave, but Davis was out there for a good 30 seconds. The Manhattan trying to extend their lead, but that pass, not a great one. But in a game that's been so stout defensively, that is just the 8th turnover for the Jaspers. A team that has averaged 26 a game. Yeah, you gave me that look. It's a big number. It's just been a clean defensive game with 2 really good goalies.
Yep.
This is, bringing it back, this is a game for the purists. The pre-shot clock era. You have to grind your way through each possession. Is Gilbert able to recover that bouncing ball?
And I think we've seen both coaches utilizing timeouts. They know how important each possession is, know how important each offensive possession is, what good shot opportunities you want to take with 2 good goalies.
They're down to a minute here in the 3rd quarter. Fairfield again chasing this game by 1. Trying to keep their perfect season on the line as Moore gets into the far alley. LeMay, he's denied by Hapward. Key ground ball picked up. LeMay puts it wide. Good stay-with-itness, though, by Jason LeMay. But now Hapward up to 15 stops, which ties his season best, which came last weekend at Vermont. Fairfield can hold for the last.
See if Fairfield tries to get Luke Akupski involved in the offense here, yet to score today. 6 goals, 1 assist so far on the season.
It's LeMay who's going to set the tone. He'll wait. 20 seconds left to go in the quarter. Dodges off to his right. Reverses far alley. Moore dodges. LeMay scores! Lovely little 2-man game between LeMay and Moore, and we're tied at 6.
Rob Moore could have taken this outside shot. Alexa Dodge draws the defender. Passes over to LeMay. You see he's going to draw that sliding Manhattan defender. Gives LeMay so much time and a great angle as a right-handed shooter. Nice patient possession there from Fairfield to end this quarter.
Now, with 12 seconds left, there is enough time for either of these face-off men to quick win and go. It's going to be Davis versus Frazier. Davis plays to the wing instead. 8 seconds left. Matt Rice trying to get inside. He does. Rice with 4. Flips far alley. Extra pass to Thompson. Couldn't get it through. Oh, it was a late trailer and Rory Thompson. It would have been brilliant from Fairfield, but we go to the last quarter. 6-6. We had a classic on Wednesday. We might be in store for another tight one here tonight. We'll be back in just a moment on the Stag Sports Network.
Fairfield Athletics would like to thank our sponsors.
So class, in lieu of a pop quiz, we will instead have a pop tailgate. The NCAA Men's and Women's Lacrosse Championships, May in Boston. Buy your seats today at ncaa.com/tickets.
We're sorry that we only serve crispy, crunchy, juicy chicken. We're sorry that we only use the best ingredients. We're sorry that other chicken sandwiches just don't do it anymore. We're sorry that it's so good.
The best chicken sandwich I've ever had.
This is where we thrive. The city, the shore, our home.
This is where we chase our dreams.
Donde trabajamos duro por nuestra familia.
And serve our communities. This is where everyone, from all walks of life, works together as one team.
This is the place where we grow and become our best selves.
This is Chick-fil-A Tri-State.
Illicit Brewing Company in Fairfield, Connecticut has everything you need for a night out. Dozens of house-brewed draft beers, guest taps, a full bar, live entertainment, dozens of TVs to catch the game, a speakeasy and game room, brew pub style food offerings, and more. This commercial isn't long enough to show you everything Illicit has to offer. So come see it for yourself. Illicit Brewing, 111 Black Rock Turnpike in Fairfield. IllicitBrewing.com.
So class, in lieu of a pop quiz, we will instead have a pop tailgate. The NCAA Men's and Women's Lacrosse Championships, May in Boston. Buy your seats today at ncaa.com/tickets.
Well, when we talk about defensive clinics, sometimes it means the 6 on each side that are getting the job done. Today it's been about the goalies. Brindley Anderson, we've had a combined 25 saves in this game.
It was Connor Hapward coming out. Those low shots from Fairfield early on, he was seeing the ball really well as a left-handed goalkeeper. That one was just awesome, saving the ball with the shaft of his stick. And then it was Owen Hirsch saying, hold on, I can save the ball too. The Fairfield defense giving him those shot opportunities he wanted to see in the second quarter. Manhattan came out super aggressive to start this half, but it was Hirsch up to the task.
So 1 quarter left to go. Again, this not a meeting that we've had in nearly a decade. Fairfield is a perfect 8-0 between these two programs. But Manhattan, a team that has been at the top of the MAC in the last 4 years. And they're going to get the first possession here of the fourth quarter. Alongside Brindley Anderson, I'm JJ Duke. Thanks for spending your day with us here on the Stag Sports Network. If you're watching the women's game earlier on ESPN+, and then joining us here, we salute you for your efforts on this Saturday. You are certainly a lot warmer than we are right now because the toes and the fingers, couldn't tell you what they feel like. Do we have 2 layers on the gloves? Yep. But that's what you get here in New England in the month of February. They tell me it's going to be 50 on Wednesday when the women play Vermont. That's going to be strange. Connor Engel. Nice active stick. That was Eli Adams deflecting that pass. And I shouldn't take away all the credit from the defensive units of both teams. It's been the goalies who have highlighted, but we've seen a number of times Fairfield defenders forcing issues. Manhattan have given the Stags' top attackmen a lot of concerns. Just been a really well-played game. Down to 20 on the shot clock as it comes near side to Drew Heiner. He had one of the first goals of the game. Switches fields, and that's snapped up by Hirsch. With the stats will, oh, sorry, Brindley.
I was going to say that was a good opening defensive possession there by Fairfield. Hirsch able to get the cause turnover.
Now it's unsettled. Great find to the far alley. LeMay gets taken out by a defender. No flag coming. Now what the stats will tell you, this actually is running right according to what Manhattan usually does. They get about 30 shots per game on average, give up 41. Fairfield are out shooting Manhattan 34-24. And the way that Fairfield plays, averaging close to 46 shots per game, this is starting to look exactly like how the game has gone on paper. Just the one contrast is the Fairfield offense that averages over 11 per game. They're nowhere near that, at least for now. Moore lost his defender, goes for goal. Hapward gets the stop. And now that does tie his season best with 15 saves. Hapward finds an option. It's a Kupski. You talked about him being quiet. That might have been one of the first times he has been open all afternoon. Gilbert, Lynch, pass in the middle. Yeah, handcuff to Kupski.
A few times this game, Fairfield, the open man is there, just unable to connect on the passes. I think that one, Kupski wasn't necessarily ready for that one in the middle. Didn't think he was going to get the pass.
And in fairness, I don't think even if he was ready, he was not going to be able to get that. Whipped in at such a short proximity. Fairfield's 10th turnover of the game. Manhattan are doing all this, by the way, only winning 4 faceoffs. And they're towards the bottom in the country at just a 37 win percent coming into today, but it has not really hurt them all that much. They're relying on their goalie to make the stops, and he has come through. Also helps having Sean Shelko back in the lineup, who missed that game against Vermont last weekend. A 5-pointer in the season opener against Wagner. Bales reverses Fields. Comes back near side to Thomas White. That shot is wide with 10 on the clock. Down to 6, it's gotta be quick. Bales looking with 1, that's a violation. Once again, it's this super talented Fairfield defense that has come through and made things really difficult. Just look at Luke Fisher, the grad student, bullying his way past 2 and just whips that one wide.
Luke Fisher has had a couple of those opportunities. A player with a lot of speed, able to get some separation, just unable to finish the shot. Fairfield regains possession, still 60 seconds to work with.
Fisher, a standout at Denison. Another save, Hapward, sprawling on the turf and came up with it.
Rob Moore on that one, dropped his shoulder. Hapward knew he was going low, so he was on the ground before the ball even went there. As an attacker, you want to have more deception. Don't let the goalie know where you're shooting before you do.
It seems once again that Fairfield have really settled for their first good look, not trying to work it a little bit more. As you're saying, a bit predictable in their efforts. This goes underneath. More than half of the shot clock gone. Into the alley, goes wide. Manhattan, after this one, they're going to take on Stony Brook, who just got knocked off by Sacred Heart. Fairfield will wrap up their 3-game homestand next Saturday at noon against Providence. I'll be here for that one. And then they'll go on the road, their other midweek game against St. John's. Almost a turnover, down to 13 on the clock. Adams still hustling and hurrying the ball handler, now a double. That's way away from goal. It's going to lead to a chance near alley, and that one goes in! Sean Shelko with 2 on the shot clock gives Manhattan the lead.
That Fairfield double team gave Manhattan the open man. It's Shelko. He's been able to find the back of the net. That's his 3rd goal on the afternoon. That Fairfield double team opened up the offense for Manhattan, especially as the shot clock is winding down. As a defense, you don't want to create offense for the other team. Sending that double, players had to shift and slide, and they weren't able to capitalize.
Shelko making his return felt and noticed around everywhere with Manhattan. 4 points today. He had 7 in the first 2 games that he played this season. Manhattan win the faceoff. Bit of a collector's item the way that this day has gone. but at this stage of the game could be very crucial for the Jaspers. And also now the way that both of these teams have managed this clock, I know, yes, it's been a defensive struggle, but each possession has had at least 60 seconds taken off the clock. So if you're Manhattan, continue to cycle the ball around, make Fairfield work for it, you may only see another 5 or 6 possessions left in this ball game. That pass was impacted by Radosic. Didn't get anything to it, but Shane Elliott will eventually get the ground ball. It's not going to go down as a caused turnover, but it looks as if it was one. And Joe Constantino, they thought about triggering. Another day he might have shot, but you talked about valuing each possession right now. You have to be smart with your looks.
And that Fairfield defense, that Shelco goal coming with just 2 seconds left on the shot clock. There, the Manhattan offense was able to wind down the shot clock, so give your defense a break.
Fairfield again, they've had Julian Radosic standing across the field, fronted by Shelco. It's become 5-on-5. In Fairfield, they've done this with their face-off men a couple of times. You can see that just top of your picture. And now Radosic will make his move. Lamprin trying to get to the middle, but he couldn't find the pass that he wanted. And now Manhattan are off to the races. They've got numbers here driving ahead. This is Gavin Wolf. It's a great pass, but Hirsch, well, I'm not sure if he made the save or at least altered the awkward effort, and Fairfield get it right back. It's going to be a crease violation.
Shelco landing in the crease after that shot. Unable as an attacking player unless the ball crosses the goal line to enter into that crease.
Timeout taken by Fairfield after Devin Lamprin got absolutely trucked. But it's going to be Stags' ball, and we're going to step aside as well. Fairfield know that they need something from this possession, and we'll have it for you when we come back as you're watching Fairfield Men's Lacrosse on the Stag Sports Network.
The Fairfield Men's Lacrosse team is back in action.
This is where we thrive. The city, the shore, our home.
This is where we chase our dreams.
Donde trabajamos duro por nuestra familia.
And serve our communities. This is where everyone, from all walks of life, works together as one team.
This is the place where we grow and become our best selves.
This is Chick-fil-A Tri-State.
Well, that Manhattan defense has put the clamps down on what has been a pretty high-scoring Fairfield offense. Stags who have averaged over 11 goals per game. Fairfield have gotten a lot of shots and a lot of good looks, but it's the combination of Connor Hapward stopping 16 and the defense forcing Fairfield into 11 turnovers. That has been the difference. But it's a couple of those players that you see on the field that Fairfield just haven't gotten the looks to, the likes of Jake Gilbert, got a pair of goals early. Devin Lamprin hasn't seen much. Now we're seeing KJ Delane in this situation. Keegan Lynch, 1 shot, 5 turnovers. He could use a goal right now. So can Fairfield because they're chasing this lead that Manhattan have built. It's been seesaw affair. It was 4-4 at halftime. Jason LeMay with a pair of goals, swings it, gets it back. LeMay dodges, shoots wide. Still more than half of the shot clock to go for Fairfield. They're still trying just to figure out a way to break down this Manhattan defense. LeMay near alley to Delane. First time we're seeing him get some extended run in second halves. Former Merrimack player. Gets it near alley, goes underneath. No look pass was deflected. Manhattan are sitting in and taking away everything from the Stags. Comes to Moore. LeMay, wide. Just a little stagnant from Fairfield with their Dodgers. Lynch whips it around, that was saved. That's a huge break for Fairfield.
Because that shot made contact with the goalie. That's why the shot clock's going to reset to 60 here. Smart play for Fairfield just to get a shot off to try and reset that shot clock and regain possession. I think this Fairfield offense needs to spread out a little bit more. These Manhattan players are playing really good 1v1 defense. You want to try to make those slides far if you can win your matchup.
Zakupski gets denied. Good save by Hapward. Now a new season high for him with 17. That pass was deflected and taken away. Hunter Newman with the stop. And a correction, that was 18 saves, the most for Hapward in the last couple of years. And with 5 minutes to go, Manhattan get the stop that they needed. But then they throw it out of bounds. Oh boy, Drew Heiner right at the shoes of Gavin Wolf. And it has to be said, Manhattan have let Fairfield off the hook a couple of times, and they win it right back. Shelko knocks it loose.
Before that flurry of turnovers, I was going to talk about Connor Hapward. We've talked a lot about him. His 18 saves, but on that last possession, it was the Manhattan defense as a collective playing really good, solid 1v1 defense, not allowing the Fairfield attackers much room to work, giving Hapward the shots he wants to see to be able to make those saves.
So it is a new career high now for Connor Hapward. His previous best this season, 15 last weekend against Vermont. He did 17 a few times last year. And he is certainly a big reason if Manhattan come away with this win. It's still under 4 minutes to go, late in the possession. That shot off the pipe. But a second chance for Manhattan, scooped up by Heiner. Tyler Mosca got a lot of it. And now more time comes off the clock. Aiden Kane in against Luke Fisher. That's an attacker playing defense as a short stick midi.
Manhattan going to try to capitalize on that matchup here.
Radosic not stepping out. That's a good decision because Hirsch was able just to stand tall. I like what Julian Radosic did because he sold pass and took away that option, forcing the shooter to only go for goal. That's a sophomore playing like a senior. But now Fairfield need to start going. Oh, that was a bit of a high hit from a 21, Matthew Pantorno. Keegan Lynch is having a look back at the official to say, hey, where's the call? Akupski and Fairfield have tried to do that whole sequence of making it 5-on-5. They get it now to Luke Akupski. It's become a little too predictable when Fairfield do that. Manhattan have figured out how to work defensively 5-on-5. Akupski in on goal, just tiptoed around the crease. Delane gets it back, extra pass. That shot blocked, loose rebound. Gilbert got pushed. This is going to stay with Fairfield. Once again, another second chance opportunity for Fairfield.
Fairfield bench wanting a reset of that shot clock. They're going to get it back to 60. That was huge. The possession clock was down to 12.
Well, now what makes it more intriguing is the fact that if Fairfield don't get a shot off in the next, say, 30 seconds or so, then Fairfield have to score. Otherwise, Manhattan could just about hold it out, and they turn the ball over. Now, why again is that important? Because if Fairfield kept holding and holding and holding, Manhattan could just run for daylight, not need to score. Fairfield can set their ride up here. That's a dangerous pass. Well sought too. And Heiner getting it across. Manhattan have timeouts, and they break the ride. Now again, Fairfield can play this straight up defensively. Don't need to pull the goalie. But Manhattan, you really shouldn't be looking to release this until about 20 on the shot clock. Doesn't look like Doug Sage is going to call a timeout either. He's going to let this one roll and not allow Fairfield to set up their defense. Of course, as I say that, it's now a timeout. We'll keep it here for the duration. But Fairfield with an unforced turnover. Now, if you're Manhattan in this situation, Brindley, obviously they need to go to goal at some point. Shelko surely has to be the target.
Yeah, Shelko's had success all afternoon long. 3 goals, 1 assist. Whether he's scoring, he can also facilitate. I think you hit the nail on the head. As Manhattan offense, you want to go under 20. Give yourself enough time to generate some offense, but also try to wean that clock down, not give Fairfield too much time to work with. And you want to attack down by the crease. So if there is a turnover or a shot clock violation, you're turning it over behind the goal rather than giving that Fairfield offense room to go.
As freed from desire, plays across the speakers. Manhattan is hoping that their offense is on fire for one more possession. Meanwhile, Fairfield need to get a stop. Let's take a look at the last sequence for Fairfield defensively. This kept it at a 1-goal game.
Really hard shot off the post. Manhattan was able to regain possession, and they tried to exploit a Fairfield attacker on defense. Hirsch comes up with a big save. He gave his offense an opportunity, just an unforced error by the Fairfield attack. Is where we sit. 1:12 left, 33 seconds left on the shot clock. So Fairfield, even if they're able to get a shot clock violation, they'll have some time to attack.
Fairfield have timeouts, so they'll be able to set something up. Now Hirsch is straight out of his cage, at least for a moment. Oh, there we go. I was about to say, why is everyone moving? All right, the ball's on this side of the field. So here we go. So Fairfield are going to temporarily double the ball handler. Hirsch is out of his net. This is a decision that Fairfield has elected to make. Goalie's off of his crease. The shot is deflected wide. No reset of the shot clock there.
I think Hirsch should stay in cage here. They've already weaned it down to 20.
And that ball's just going to stay onside. Nearly went over and back, and Manhattan are going to use... Oh, is this going to be a violation on Fairfield? Hang on a second here. Officials are having a conversation right now. Okay, so no reset. I think we're Manhattan may be asking for a reset of the shot clock, saying that the goalie got a save. Doug Sage thinking that Hirsch got it. But if anything else, Brindley, this is brilliant because Manhattan, they've had enough time to at least signal something out to their players with 12 seconds left. Big diving check, knocks the ball loose. Hirsch comes off of his line, he's got it. But he throws it to space. They do reset the shot clock and Fairfield have it. Now they've got to push. They do have a timeout to work with. Getting it across is Andrew Caston. Caston gonna go for goal, dodges, it's knocked down. Comes to Lynch, he scores! Keegan Lynch ties it with under 30 seconds left.
Keegan Lynch's first goal of the game couldn't have come at a better time. 27 seconds left, he ties it up. That Fairfield defense held tough. Hirsch coming away with the big ground ball, they're able to clear.
And Lynch got absolutely flattened as he let that one go, as the referees are now having a conversation here. Could be a flag coming. RIP headphone users who are listening to that one. But my goodness, the stay with itness from Fairfield after Caston had his effort blocked.
It's an excellent shot by Lynch on goalie in Hapward, who's seeing the ball really well. They're going to make sure Lynch is okay after that big hit. He's going to stay out there.
Now this would be big if the officials called a penalty on Manhattan for unnecessary roughness, as the referees have now gone, or one official's gone over to both. Oh, they're going to call a penalty. It's a 1 minute unnecessary. Fairfield are going to finish the game man up. Here comes that hit, and it's important when the time happens because it's after the ball went into the cage. And now it's man up. Timeout, Jaspers. Oh, there's so many things you can open up with this, Brindley, because Fairfield have been on lock on faceoff. They're man up. Obviously, you have to win the faceoff. If you're Manhattan, you win it. You just take the game to overtime and see what happens there.
And Fairfield, off that Manhattan turnover, elected not to take a timeout. They let play go. So if they win the faceoff here, even in this timeout, they can draw something up with their power play unit. Fairfield 0 for 2 on the extra man today.
That's just unfortunate for Drew Heiner, but that's a really undisciplined penalty. I know he's trying to make a play on the ball, but the last thing that you can do is take a hit after a player releases a shot like that. If he misses it wide, it's still going to be a penalty. Now it's a situation that if the shot missed, worst thing, Fairfield ties it when you're man down. Now Fairfield can, in essence, walk it off. Funny thing was, Brindley, that double overtime winner from Rob Moore, it was the first overtime game for the Stags since 2019. The irony is, the game before that against Bryant, Fairfield also went to overtime. So could we be in store for another back-to-back?
That Sacred Heart double overtime game, it was Fairfield who had the lead 12-9, and then it was Sacred Heart who came back to tie it and send it to overtime. Now flip the script. The Stags were down, needing a tying goal with 27 seconds left.
So Manhattan are now out of timeouts here. Fairfield have one. And what Manhattan were doing, we're just designing a play. If they do win the face-off, how to see out the 27 seconds and get into overtime. But the face-off win by Frazier, and he's just got to run. He cannot be bailed out by anybody here in this situation. Frazier with 15. That pass deflected by Livingston, and he gets it. Fairfield, if they want to win in regulation, got to push. Here comes Caston with 8 on the clock. Caston, far alley, timeout Fairfield. And they're going to set it up and try and win it at the death.
Timeout Fairfield.
Big play by Nate Livingston. Another one of these players that waited for their moment after last season, only just played in 2 games, now has started every game this season. And now, if you're the Stags, do you deja vu it all over again and go to Rob Moore?
I think you do here. Rob Moore, the hero of last game with that overtime winner. He's been consistent this afternoon. He had 2 goals coming in that second quarter, so he's been a little bit quiet in the second half. He's also added an assist. He's got the most shots on the team with 7. So he's able to create his own opportunity. The ball's at that top left quadrant of the field, so that's good for a right-handed dodger if they want to put the ball in the stick of Rob Moore.
So if you're just joining us, this is the sequence that has allowed Fairfield to get this opportunity to try and walk it off at home. The trail from Rory Thompson. Again, Manhattan are man down in this situation. And Nate Livingston just throwing his stick up, trying to make a play. 6 on 5 for Fairfield with 5.2 seconds in overtime. It'll be Jake Gilbert to start it in the far alley. Gilbert on the day has himself a couple of goals, but it's got to be straight to goal. Here we go. Gilbert at goal line extend, looking for an alley. He's not going to like it, so Fairfield are just going to say, let's play for overtime, because they'll carry 33 seconds of that man up into it. We will step aside for a couple of minutes. When we come back, we'll have the extra frame. It's back-to-back OT lacrosse at Rafferty Stadium on the Stag Sports Network.
This is where we thrive. The city, the shore, our home.
This is where we chase our dreams.
Donde trabajamos duro por nuestra familia.
And serve our communities. This is where everyone, from all walks of life, works together as one team.
This is the place where we grow and become our best selves.
This is Chick-fil-A Tri-State.
Illicit Brewing Company in Fairfield, Connecticut has everything you need for a night out. Dozens of house-brewed draft beers, guest taps, a full bar, live entertainment, dozens of TVs to catch the game, a speakeasy and game room, brew pub-style food offerings, and more. This commercial isn't long enough to show you everything Illicit has to offer. So come see it for yourself. Illicit Brewing, 111 Black Rock Turnpike in Fairfield. IllicitBrewing.com.
We're sorry that we only serve crispy, crunchy, juicy chicken. We're sorry that we only use the best ingredients. We're sorry that other chicken sandwiches just don't do it anymore. We're sorry that it's so good.
The best chicken sandwich I've ever had.
Why is the U.S. ski and snowboard team proud to have Headlam as their official non-alcoholic beer sponsor? Because when you're bombing down a mountain at 100 miles per hour with only spandex and lip balm for protection, you definitely don't want to buzz. You want cold, crisp, great-tasting American beer without the booze. Because staying upright is kinda important, right? Headlam, brewed to be wild.
Overtime here in Fairfield, Connecticut, and we still have 33 seconds. Fairfield man up on the 1 minute unnecessary roughness on Drew Heiner. Alongside Brinley Anderson, I'm JJ Duke. Fairfield's second straight game playing overtime and a false start because we were not ready to go yet. Andrew Baxter is still getting an explanation, so they got to reset the clock. 33 seconds should be there as long as 4 minutes as well.
Since Fairfield was able to maintain possession to end the fourth quarter of player up, that's why there's no face-off.
As they get the 4 minutes back on the clock, and it'll be 33 seconds. Again, furious finish to this game. And the Stags, number 21, Keegan Lynch, scoring the equalizer. That came with 27 seconds left after Sean Shelko made it 7-6 with 9:20 left. Now, Doug Sage not happy about something. And I mentioned it in the fourth quarter. Fairfield, the last time that they had an overtime game was in the 2019 season against Utah in March. They also played overtime the game before that. Taylor Stroud had the winner in that one. Travis Ford against Utah. It was Rob Moore at the winner on Wednesday against Sacred Heart. Going to be deja vu all over again. 23 seconds in the man up. KJ Delane whips it now to the far alley. That one just goes wide. It was taken by Lynch. No, excuse me, that was Devin Lamperin with the effort. Still 18 seconds left of man up. In Fairfield, if they don't get it on man up, still plenty of time left in the shot clock. Lynch behind the cage, looking, goes to Delane, near alley. Gilbert reverses. Lamperin, 4 on the man up. Akupski back to Lamperin. He scores! And Fairfield once again win it in overtime. How do you like that?
This is
These cardiac Stags who played 2 overtime frames on Wednesday. Well, they did the celebration of the snow. Let's do it again. Double the snowbank, double the OT goal, Selly. Fairfield walks it off 8-7.
Took 2 overtimes on Wednesday night to get the score for Fairfield. Just 33 seconds into the first overtime, Lamprin walks it off Fairfield. This game, as I mentioned, they had to come from behind in that Sacred Heart game. They were the ones leading down the stretch. This one, they had to come from behind, scored the last 2 goals of the game.
It has to be said, and said it on Wednesday, that unfortunately, when there's a winner in this type of game, there has to be a team that falters. Manhattan absolutely brilliant, including their graduate student goalie Connor Hapward with a career-high 19 saves. Wednesday's was an offensive showing. This was a defensive struggle. And Manhattan, you hope it's going to sting for a little while, but they can take a lot away from tonight's game. And believe me, back-to-back days, we saw 2 outstanding teams take MAC away from it. You saw 2 outstanding teams come here to Fairfield and give the Stags everything. But these cardiac Fairfield men's lacrosse players under their head coach Andrew Baxter improved to 4-0. This is one of the best starts that this program has had in quite a long time, and they'll finish up their homestand next Saturday against Providence. That's going to be a noon start. We hope you all can join us here. For our entire Stag Sports Network crew, for Brindley Anderson, I'm JJ Duke saying enjoy the rest of your weekend. Take a breath. We will be, as Devin Lamprin walks it off in OT.